All right, everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a good evening, good day, good morning, whenever you're viewing this video. I just found out, and I've been wrapping my head trying to find some kind of like what is the joke? Where in the world does this fit into the world of jokes? Is it a knock knock joke? Is it a short joke, a bad joke, a clever joke, a funny example? It turns out none of this turned out to be a joke, and this joke turned out to be real life because most people in their right minds, when you think of an often injured quarterback who's missed a bunch of games in his career, you think who misses all this time, you would think just because he's had two injuries in a row, you just think he's garbage, no good. Why would a team invest any kind of long-term money in? That was my initial thoughts to why I thought this was a joke, and then I found out. Well, the joke is anyway, the Eagles have secured Carson Wentz for 4 years on a $128 million contract worth up to $144 million with deals and all sorts of fun stuff and with incentives, games played, not getting hurt, yada 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 to make it up to 144 with 66 fully guaranteed at signing. So he got $66 million guaranteed when he signed the contract and 107.9 million in guarantees over the duration of the 4-year contract. So basically, the Eagles have given Nick Foles a 4-year deal worth $128 million. He can earn $144 million. He got $66 million when he signed it, and he's getting $107 million total in guarantees over the duration of the contract. I am not joking. We can look at it one way. We all know that Russell Wilson is getting $35 million a year, and he's won a Super Bowl. He's done all this. Wentz is getting $32 million a year, and that's quite good. But the thing that is incredible is the amount of guaranteed money that Wentz is getting. I'm pretty sure nobody else in the NFL the Eagles signal caller surpasses Wilson and all NFL players in total guarantees. And he's also the first quarterback from the 2016 draft class to sign an extension. Goff is due to sign one very soon, and we all know that one Dakota Prescott is working on one with the Cowboys. This is probably going to be about the range that it's in, 30 to 35 million for Dak based on the Wentz contract. But yeah, Wentz is getting, again, just to kind of reiterate, a 4-year deal. He's the first quarterback inked up through the 2024 season. He still had 2 years left on his contract, his rookie deal, but it's just like when you know he's your franchise quarterback, you don't want him leaving. You don't want him to ever see free agency. Lock him up, secure it, and get the best you can out of him. And we're going to go over why this isn't that big of a joke as you would think it is, like I did at first. He's had a decent little career. Everybody knows in 2017 he was probably going to be the MVP prior to tearing his ACL, the knee injury. And then last year he kind of had a rough year. He was 5-6 when he was the starter, and the team wasn't really looking very responsive to his play style. Something just wasn't right, even though he was having a better year than he's ever had. We'll go over that in a second. It was touchdowns were down a little bit, but other than that, everything else was way up in terms of like just looking at the raw numbers of everything. It's really crazy once you actually look at some of the things. Would I want my team to give Carson Wentz a 4-year, $128 million contract worth up to 100 and what did I say? A 4-year, 128.4 or $128 million deal worth up to 144 million. 66 given to him right now. He just got 66 million, and he's gonna get 107 million in total guarantees, regardless of if he gets hurt, regardless of if he never plays again. He gets 107 million from this team. Would I want my team to sign Carson Wentz to that deal? Well, I'll answer that question after we look at a few things. Now, I've often said that he's very injury prone, and that is true. The guy's been hurt for what? He got hurt the last 2 seasons, was just fine his rookie year, I found out. He played all 16, no problem. And then in his senior season of college, a lot of people bring up that he was injured, he didn't play. He started, I believe, the first couple games, and then he broke his wrist, and then he missed. Okay, he started the first 6 games of his his 5th-year senior season at North Dakota. I believe, North Dakota State Bisons. And then he broke his wrist, and then he missed the next 8 weeks and came back and won the national championship. So there's that misconception of him missing a fourth. You know how everyone says he always, he's missed 4 straight years or whatever. That's not true. He didn't miss his entire senior year. He played 6 games. He played 7 total games. He missed some due to a broken wrist. Shit happens. Whatever. Let's go to his rookie year. He played every single game his rookie season. Not a problem with injuries. It's whatever. Who cares? He played his whole rookie season. Obviously, in 2017, he played 13 games, and last year he played in 11. So for his career, let's really think about this. The most injury-prone quarterback, the one everyone calls an injury-prone bust, the no-good guy you wouldn't want on your team for this much money. He's missed 8 games in 3 years. I mean, that's realistically, that's not that bad. That just kind of makes up for the fact he was an immediate starter in the NFL. I like 8 games in 3 seasons for a third-year quarterback. That's not the worst thing in the world. I'm sorry, but that's not that that's not that big of a deal to me. That doesn't scream injury prone. That doesn't scream injury prone bust. That just screams a guy who got unlucky late in the season twice. And last year, they didn't even really have to shut him down with that back injury. They did it because they knew they were going to let Nick Foles walk. They knew they were going to be re-signing Carson Wentz. They thought the season was trash at 5-6 anyway. The defense was horrible last year for the Eagles. Everybody got hurt. Most of their offense was hurt. Carson was still dealing. You could see the numbers here. We're about to go over them. He was dealing before he got hurt. But, I mean, the defense was bad, and then the team just kind of clicked with Foles back. It was just kind of like they were going to strike lightning struck twice for a second there in Philadelphia. And they weren't playing bad because Foles, the defense just started playing better for the Eagles. That was the real story of that their end of their season last year. But their offense was playing just fine with Nick Foles when he was out there and with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was on his way to having a career year. Let's look at this. 2016, not the greatest numbers. He threw for 3,782 yards, 16 touchdowns, 14 picks, 79.3 QBR. Not the greatest numbers, but he was a rookie, whatever. You can kind of forgive it. His numbers in 2017 on his way to an MVP. Listen to how good these improved. He went from 7-9 to 11-2. He lost 2% on his completion percentage, but he also threw the ball. That was weird. He lost 500 yards, but he also played in 3 less games. He was throwing for 253 a game, up 20 yards from the last season at 236, so he went up to 253, basically a 20-yard increase. His QBR was the most impressive thing to jump up. His passer rating went from 79.3 to 101.9. That's the most staggering thing in the yards per game. In the yards per attempt, 6.2 to 7.5, a yard and a half almost. And then last year, this is what I consider to be staggering. He went from a 60 completion percentage during his MVP type year to a 70% last year. He was throwing for 26 more yards a game at basically 280. He was averaging 0.2 more on the attempt, 21-7, so he's basically the same touchdown interception ratio. A few less touchdowns, but that's because the team was, hurt, didn't have the same. There was something going on. No running game in Philadelphia. It was a bad thing. He went up a point in QBR to 102.2, basically 0.3 points. So he was on his way to have a better year than he's ever had last year. So he's only been improving in the categories you want to see: yards per game, yards per attempt, QBR, completion percentage. Those are the things you look at. Not really like the interceptions, kind of 7. That's good. It's dropped from his rookie year. The touchdowns are staying good. The rating went up. The yards per game, yards per attempt. Those are the things you want to look at. And completion percentage. Everything's going up, dramatically going up. This year, if the trend continues, he should be at 75% of his passes completed. If you just look at the way he's trending, he's going to have a monster year. And his health, yeah, sure. There's been a couple problems with his health the last 2 years. An ACL injury, it seems like that's a common football injury. If you run the ball, you're going to tear your ACL. The back injury, like we've gone over, you can even read this. They shut him down because they thought the season was over at 5-6. They knew Nick Foles. They know Nick Foles can play. They know Nick Foles was going to walk. They know Carson was the future. Why risk the future on what they considered to be sort of a busted season when they could get the rest? Still have a decent shot at finishing with a decent record. It doesn't look bad to the fans. Carson was in a good situation to be sat last year. He needed to. His back was messed up. They didn't need to sit him. If he was the only quarterback on the roster, he'd have probably finished out the season last year. But they didn't need him to because they had a guy who just was a Super Bowl MVP going. They're like, all right, this works. This just works. And the ACL injury is the only thing that's really been a real injury to Carson Wentz if you think about it. The back injury was they just didn't want to risk him. The broken wrist in college, yeah, he broke his wrist, and then he came back and won the Natty. So I don't really see injury prone bust. I don't even really see injury prone. I see a guy who has a very conservative, watchful franchise that cares about his future, shutting him down last year, and then a freak ACL injury. What are you going to do about that? He was a running quarterback, and you know what he stopped doing last year? He stopped running the ball. He went from 64 rushes down to 34, literally in half. Yards per, he just barely moved. He just didn't even try. 8.5 from 23. He just doesn't run anymore. He's like, all right, if I'm going to hurt my ACL, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stand back. And you better watch out for the fact that they have Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey, and fucking Deshaun Jackson back. They just drafted that running back. I think it was Josh Johnson or something like that. The name is slipping me. I'm sorry about that. They have Charles Johnson from the AAF, who was a complete beast for the Orlando Apollos. Now we're back to the original question. After going over it, kind of dispelling a couple things that I think about Mr. Wentz. Number one, would I pay this kid to this much money? The overall dollar amount, yeah, I think that's just kind of like the nature of contracts, the nature of the what you have to pay quarterbacks. I don't really see a problem giving him 128 million over 4 years. But, Russell got more yearly. Other people get about that much money. Stafford's got about that much. I don't really have a problem with the length and the amount of money. What I have a weird issue with, and I have no idea why, is the 107.8 million guaranteed bucks. I'd have given 80, but there's no way I'd have gone above 80 or maybe 90 in total guarantees because it's like, dude, you have missed the last 2 seasons, and the Eagles know like they can't use that as obviously that's not usable in leverage because it's like, hey, I missed the last season because you guys shut me down. I missed 1 year. I missed 3 games because of an ACL. That's all I've missed. And you have to kind of look at that and go, that's true. He only really missed 3 games with an ACL. And then the team decided to shut him down for 5. So really, when you think about it, the dude's missed 3 games in 48 games by injury. The other 5 weren't by choice. That was the team. So yeah, I guess if you think that this kid is going to be good, and he's proven he could be an elite quarterback when healthy, which is most of the time he's healthy. Have a decent defense around him. This offense is going to be unstoppable. The Eagles are probably going to win the NFC East. I'm sorry to say this, folks, but this whole fucking Wikipedia page almost gets rid of the notion he's injury prone. He's missed fucking 3 games by injury, 5 by non-choice. Let's look at his career awards and highlights just to see what we're getting. Most completions by a rookie, 379. Most completion percentage, most completions through the first 24 games of his career at 540. Most consecutive games with 1+ touchdown with one interception or less. Current streak is 22 games, surpassing Matt Ryan's 21 from December 2015 to September 2017. Eagles records, awards. He was 3-time Pepsi Player Rookie of the Week. Yeah, he's just got all these awards. He's a nice guy. He gets a little bit too much hate for being injury prone. He missed 8 games in his entire NFL career to injuries. Again, 3 of them by choice. But the purpose of this is I was trying to make a corny joke that it's a joke that that Carson Wentz got this contract, but really it's not. It's the way that people are getting paid in the NFL. 144, 128, whatever, with 144 with incentives. That's not that ridiculous. That's literally what Stafford, Russell Wilson, everybody's got. Matt Ryan got that. Aaron Rodgers got it. And fucking, it's fine. It's fine. That's whatever money. The 107.9 is a little high for me. I'd have gone about 85 to 90. Just based on, there is some injuries there. But again, only 3 of those games can be used against him. And an ACL injury is kind of shitty to use against a quarterback. It's like, what does that mean? Brady tore his ACL in 2007. Did they use that against him? No, they don't. So, Hell, Brady's actually missed more games to injury in the one time Brady's been injured than Carson Wentz has missed in his entire career. Let that sink in. Brady's been hurt once and missed more time than Carson Wentz has been hurt in his entire NFL career. 15 games to 8. Three were by injury choice. The 5 were by the team hold. Whatever. But is it a joke? No. The guy deserves the money based on the other NFL contracts, based on everything else that goes on with quarterback pay. Yeah, he's an elite top quarterback in the NFL, probably top 5, so he should get top 5 money. The guaranteed is a little high. I don't think he should be the most guaranteed player, most guaranteed contract in history. I don't know if I agree with that for some reason. It just feels weird. But, yeah, so that's going to be the end of the video. What do you guys think of Mr. Wentz's impressive new record-setting contract with the Philadelphia Eagles? Are the Eagles stupid for this? Do you not trust Wentz? I already kind of know what people are going to be saying about this. They're going to be trying to debate me on this. Everyone hates Carson Wentz. It's because he's a ginger. He's got red hair. I know what it is about him. I know what the real reason is, folks. And as someone who used to be a ginger, remember, we've gone over this. I am cured from the gingivitis. My hair is becoming brown. I've lost freckles. My skin has got pigment again. Don't hate Carson just because he's a ginger. All right, just go ahead and leave your comments down below. Let's like the video if you can. It helps push it out there. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We do a lot of live streams, and this is a football video. So hey guys, I just wanted to talk for a while. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was a good video for you. I hope you learned a little bit about Mr. Carson Wentz not being an injury-prone bust, because most injury-prone busts don't miss 8 games in 48 potential games. Just let that sink in. He's missed 3 games by an ACL injury and 5 because his team shut him down to not potentially hurt him more. Because they had Nick Foles sitting on the bench, who just won a Super Bowl against the Patriots. Why not? All right. If they didn't have Nick Foles on the bench last year, Carson probably plays at least 14, 15, maybe 16 games, depending on if he would have gotten hurt further with the back injury. But hey, Eagles saved him, basically. All right, whatever. All right, we're rambling. We've already done this. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good day. Go Patriots, go Lions. We're close, folks. 2 months. 2 months. All right, peace out. Thanks a lot.